Hi, welcome back. It's time for my campaign update, and this is the State of the Union part. It's part two. Welcome. I am Susan Buchser, and I am a presidential candidate for the 2028 presidential election. But perhaps I might be doing something here in West Virginia, but I have to wait and find out if they're going to accept me. And let's see what happens. So, in our country, we still got snowstorms going on. So, and there's a new one coming up from the south and from the east. So be careful, be smart. Make sure you have water and blankets in your vehicle and maybe some matches in case you have to start a fire to keep warm. Maybe keep a jump starting mechanism also in your vehicle in case you have to jump start your vehicle. I know in cold weather, sometimes the cars stop. The batteries are too cold, so they don't like to start up properly the first time. And, maybe put some salt in there in case you get stuck on ice. Just be smart about it. And try not to travel if you don't have to, which right now there's sort of nothing going on. So don't go out. Stay home. Stay safe. Let the street cleaners clean the streets so that we can get back on them as soon as possible. And so maybe get out for a walk in the snow. It is pretty and it's fun, or maybe build a snowman if you're inclined to do such things. Or just stay in and drink a hot chocolate and watch a movie. That's also good. But stay safe. And I want to say that if you are someone who smokes marijuana or doesn't normally smoke marijuana, but you're decided to try it, be careful. There's some new marijuana out there that's laced with drugs that make you paralyzed almost immediately. So don't go outside and smoke it. Smoke inside if you're a newly returning to smoking marijuana thing. Because you could end up frozen, that you can't move because you're paralyzed, and then being out in this cold weather that we've got right now will freeze you to death. So just don't do it. Stay indoors. Don't even go out on your porch because it's that quick. Stay indoors, go to the bathroom, turn the vent on, and smoke it there. Okay? Not that you have to smoke. But if you're going to, just do it that way. Then, government shutdown over the ICE funding, which Homeland Security. I personally don't. We need to reduce our military. We don't need all these different titles and all these different names, and for people, everybody's doing the same job. So we need to divvy up the issues to certain areas and have everything report to one central location. This is crazy that we've got so many layers of protection, but it's not even that they protect, because usually crimes have to happen first before anything is done. So you're not really protecting, you're record keeping. So we don't need another record keeper, which would be Homeland Security. They were supposed to come in and be the voice in between two different organizations, but why can't the two different organizations just talk to each other? We don't need a middleman. The U.S. government is really good at making middlemen and, finding ridiculous jobs for men to do. And we know that most of the people in the military establishment of the U.S., the military branches, all the, they're mostly men. So, let's not kid ourselves that there's lots of women working there. So, first, men need to just start behaving better. We need to work on that. Men behaving better so that we need less of this stuff. We don't need more. Because, like I said, you're not really protecting anyways. You're just record keeping. You're just an extra tax that we have to pay. So, yeah, I'm actually okay with let's stop funding Homeland Security and get rid of them. We got all these other organizations doing the same job. So it's time to rearrange that. But they're doing it more because of the ICE raids, the ICE police raids that are going on. I don't know if raid is the right word, but maybe it is. I don't know. But apparently there are some going on in West Virginia, but we don't have people. We're not having the same experience as Minnesota. So I don't know what the difference is. We're not a border state, but we also had, I don't know, something like 300, a little over 300 people arrested or deported, or I'm not sure what, but found. And the ICE that's here is doing something about it. As far as people in Minnesota, you're a border state. So maybe there's something really more serious going on there than is going on in West Virginia. But apparently we also have arrests going on, or collection of people that need to be deported because they don't have their documents. Yeah. So, I don't know what's going to happen with the government shutdown. Let's find out there too. And let's just hope that people will, people who are here illegally should leave the country. You know what's happening. You know that this is going on. It's not a surprise. So you should leave the country, go back to whatever area you came from the world, wherever you can go to. If you came through Mexico, go back to Mexico. Fill out the paperwork and come back in properly. Then there's no problem, right? But if you wait for the ICE police to find you, then there might be a problem. So my recommendation is to go back to Mexico or Canada, whatever border you cross to get in here. Get the paperwork filled out, and let's see if you can come back in. That's how it works, folks. So, yeah. In the state, the legislature's meeting and having a whole bunch of going over different bills that they want to introduce, funding and all sorts. And I read something that perhaps our governor is contemplating doing an income tax cut. So that might be something nice. We'll see. As far as the state goes, we got so many different regions that are good and bad, that are in good or bad shape. And we really need to focus on the places that are in bad shape and do infrastructure building. So this is where, in my opinion, we need to work in West Virginia and all over the country. We have an infrastructure problem. We got bridges and roads that are extremely dangerous, and things are going to start happening soon. And especially if we get extreme weather like what we're having with the cold and the snow and the ice, things, the problem is nobody took care of them. Then the other part, I understand that some of this global warming gases are from natural gas leaks. And it's my understanding that all over West Virginia, we have a lot of gas leaks going on. So, maybe it's time to fix those too. It might even be a national emergency. So, Governor Morsi, you may want to apply for emergency money from the U.S. government for the gas leaks and the coal mines that are left to rot. This is dangerous for the planet and for the citizens and for the creatures in West Virginia. So it might be a good idea. The people are hurting everywhere all over the U.S., and we got robots coming, folks. In fact, I think we have already got them in some cases. Some cyborgs already exist. But for right now, we got problems. And robots are really coming. They're going to take a lot of jobs. So we need to restructure now. So be proactive rather than reactive. So we need to move to a more human skill base where we learn the different arts of what humans can do. Because robots are going to soon also be smarter than us. And then they can solve problems. So hopefully, eventually, we might get an answer to, what was the Big Bang? Was there a Big Bang? Where is God? Is there a God? And so on. But until then, we have to deal with human reality, which is that we are not as smart as the potential that robots have on us. So we have to start thinking of plan B. And that includes training in like a apprenticeship to learn, being a baker, a butcher, candlestick maker, all the traditional ones. So traditional arts, learning to be a mason, learning to build buildings and structures, bridges. I mean, we need also all that infrastructure rebuilt. So, we certainly have work. It's just not the work that maybe we're all doing right now. And we need to change our school system so that kids will be learning in an apprenticeship too and learn skills that are important for life as well. Like, how to take care of a car, or how to be a nurse, or how to be a parent, how to take care of a home, and so on, how to balance a budget. So these things are all very important and need to be learned at school. And I have a whole school program that I think I've shared like just the last episode or so. So yeah, but we should do it now, not when everything's falling apart. We could be the leaders. We can show them how. So Governor Morsi, if you're listening, let's talk. Let's meet up. Let's organize this. Let's get it started. It's time. And, paying mothers for their full-time work of being a mother. It's a full-time job, and mothers need to be paid for it. Babies don't have money, so it's got to come from somewhere. And we want good citizens. They've got to come from somewhere. So that means that, again, Governor Morsi, we need to be paid for our important work. The mothers, the aunts, so the caregivers, the grandparents, and of course the fathers too. So let's hash this out and get it organized. As you know, I want to start something called domestic tranquility, because that's what our Constitution of the USA says. We're we the people, and we are supposed to be working on domestic tranquility. And domestic tranquility is hardly what we have right now. So we're doing something wrong. And throwing more money at the same old system is not working. So, Governor Morrissey, we need to talk. You know my ideas will work. Okay, so that's it for the State of the Union. State of the World is coming up next. And I am Susan M. Buchser, Susan Maud Buchser, and I have a website. It's susan4usa.com. That's Susan the number 4 usa.com. So give me a look. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this page wherever you are, and let's get the job done. Let's stop goofing around. People are hurting. They need the change. And they need it now, not tomorrow. Now. Okay. Part 3 coming up.